So, so before we move on to our discussion and the tips, we just want to welcome any new listeners or viewers to the show. We know we're getting a lot new ones, so welcome to the show. If you're here for Monster Hunter, great. If you want to catch us every week, we talk about other games, mostly what's new or what we've been playing. And so we just want to welcome you guys and hope you enjoy the episode. So, all right. So we're going to talk about the beginner tips for Monster Hunter World. And so it's just some things to get started here. Some things I noticed from my own experience and just things I've learned from playing the game so far is in the beginning, don't really worry about the money or the zenny in this game. And so I know like Elias was mentioning how he's upgraded his armor. I'll go into that a little bit further, but that costs more money. And at least for me, I didn't upgrade my armor at all. And I didn't have a problem with money in the beginning of the game. For me, it wasn't until I hit high rank that it really became a problem. I need to find ways to make more money. So my tip, though, would be not to worry about it too much in the beginning. And then along with that, with the armor, I found you don't need to craft every armor set. Like, I would do it in increments of every few monsters. I would find a set that I just found aesthetically pleasing to my eyes, and I would just farm that armor set. In low rank, it's really easy to get the armor sets. You only need to hunt the monster like 2 or 3 times, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So once you find one that you like, I would say get it, and then wait until maybe you find one that you think maybe is either better looking, or it's just been too long and you're having a hard time defeating the next monster, and maybe at that point you need to upgrade your armor.
For me, for early game, I was looking. I mean, yeah, I probably shouldn't have upgraded my armor. It just felt like good, and armor spheres seemed like they would be easy to come by, relatively. And I just went for the bone set first because it had no negative resistances or whatever.
For the elements.
It just had positive fire, positive maybe electrical or something. I forget.
Thunder, water, ice, fire, dragon.
Okay, so I think it had 2 and 2 in fire and thunder, and then zeros and everything else, but no negatives,
right.
which is
good.
Yeah, so it'll be all around decent armor.
Yeah.
I'll
say this. Because you do get a lot of armor spheres, because there's different levels of armor spheres. There's like armor spheres plus,
okay.
and then you get like advanced armor sphere. So the beginning ones, yeah, you can use them to upgrade your armor, and that's fine. I would say the biggest thing is that you're kind of spending money that you don't need to be spending money on.
Yeah.
Because you do move through low rank, obviously depending on how you play and how well you're doing. You move through the armor sets really quickly as far as the monsters go. So instead of upgrading the armor, it's better probably just to make a new set, because so until
that's more what I'm looking at now. It's like, okay, what pieces can I get that I like more?
Yeah, and that's honestly a low rank thing. Once you get to high rank, you can upgrade. I'm just actually figuring this out. You can pretty much, I think, upgrade any armor set to at least a close defense stat as like the end game armor from the monsters. So like even right now, I'm fighting a monster called Corinne, who's a thunder monster, and super difficult. So I'm like, all right, I need to just actually farm for the right stuff. So I went for the ingot armor, and I'm like, well, this armor, yes, it's good. It's good against thunder, but it's only like a 50 defense stat compared to one of the armor set I'm currently using, which is like 65 or something. But you can upgrade it more than you can upgrade the current set I have. So it may be a couple points lacking, but at that point, in high rank, it doesn't. You can kind of use whatever armor set you want. But in low rank, it's better just to kind of progress as fast as you can through the armor sets instead of upgrading them. But at the same time, like if you really like the armor set, you don't want to let it go. I suppose you could. But so that's just that. I guess that's my opinion. But I think it'd be better just to kind of not upgrade it, but get new stuff.
Yeah, well, honestly, it's probably just more of a time save than anything, because I spend way too much time like thinking about that or going into the smithy when I should just be focusing on okay.
Oh no, you spend a lot of time in the smithy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, like no matter what. Like honestly, I spend more time probably running from the first level to the second level to look at armor and weapons, back down to the first level to get investigations, which we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it can be frustrating, but yeah, no, there's a lot of time spent just checking out stuff in the smithy. Like,
yeah, just getting your ducks in a row so that you know
let me
what
look
investigation you want to go on next.
Yeah, let me look at all my upgrade paths for my weapons and all that stuff. So, but yeah, the next kind of section we have is for quests. So I was talking a little bit about this with Elias. The best quests to do are investigations, for a couple of reasons. They grant bonus rewards depending on, there's bronze, silver, and gold, and the gold have just a higher chance of giving you either like a plate, which is a rare item, or once you get to higher rank, it's a gem. So those are generally better just because of the extra rewards, and lots of times they'll actually give you better reward money from doing that investigation. Not to say optional quests aren't important though, because certain optional quests actually will get you certain important things. Like for example, in I forget what it's actually called in Monster Hunter World, but basically the farm, and
the botany area or the ancient tree or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's certain things from optional quests that you'll do that will either grant you more slots or it will grant you more certain items that you can harvest.
So Fleetwood, just sorry to stop you.
No.
Fleetwood Gaming says nice fake mustache. Thank you. I really worked hard on it.
It's real, by the way.
It's my father's. I took it from him.
Yeah. So yeah, not to ignore optional quests, but most of the time when I'm either farming a monster or I need money, I go and I just go to investigations because if you're farming the monster, they give you extra rewards, so it's just better overall. And then I actually just learned this recently from a YouTube video I watched, but make sure to check out limited bounties where you get your investigations and bounties from. It's a timed thing where I think right now like there's 4 days left, but if you complete all the objectives, they get you really good rewards. Like in high rank, it will get you something called the golden egg, which just sells for a lot of money. That's the only purpose. And then it gives you a gold Vivarian print, which you can use at the melder to meld a monster gem, which is like the rarest item you can get from a monster. So those things, the rewards are basically just really good. So don't forget to, you want to go and check out the limited bounties. If you go into bounties and investigations and you go to bounties and then you hit like R1 twice to go to the limited section, it'll tell you what you need to do there. So always check that out every few days. So that pretty much wraps it up for the quests. Did you have any questions as far as so far for you with how the story is progressing, or?
Well, the only thing that I've noticed, I spend way more time working on. Okay, there's a quest for the botanist. There's quest for the canteen. There's a bunch of investigations because I want to upgrade my armor. Because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to finish the story quest if I don't upgrade my weapons at least. I spend way more time on that stuff than the storyline, and it seems like you guys maybe progress through the storyline a bit quicker. So should I have you guys been helping? Well, you guys started at the same time, so you might have been a little bit more able to do that.
Connor's on more, I think, in general, so he's helped like either you or like Ethan a lot. Mm-hmm. So he has more hours in the game, but a lot of that time is spent more on helping people because we both beat the main story yesterday, I think.
Okay.
We kind of just got to the point where like, all right, let's just finish these last few monsters, get to the last boss, and we finished. And then, so once the story ends, though, it continues. You can keep playing. There's a lot more end game stuff to work towards. Mm-hmm. Not to get too far away from our low rank discussion.
So yeah, I guess my main question is, should I work with other people on quests, or do you guys use other things like explosive barrels or traps to defeat some of the monsters a little bit easier?
So, this is probably just my personal opinion, but sometimes, I think it depends on the monster, but sometimes going solo is better. Mm-hmm. If you're having a hard time, though, having 4 people, doing a quest is easier because it's not just relying on you, but at the same time, going in solo will make you a better hunter. Just in general, learning your weapon, learning the monster. But yeah, if you're having a hard time, I would recommend either popping the SOS flare, or what you can do is what me and Connor do a lot is actually we go and we search for people who have SOS flares, because then you can jump into a quest already in progress. Usually they've already found the monster, and usually sometimes there's already more than a couple people in there. You can have a full team already. So, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of up to you how you want to play, though. I mean, if playing with friends is important to you, then do that. But at the same time, like sometimes I know for me, going in solo is just quicker or easier than trying to do it a different way. It just kind of depends, because the monsters scale based on either single player or multiplayer. And so it doesn't matter if there's 2 people or 4 people, it's the same difficulty. I think we kind of talked about that a little bit last week. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, no, it's preference. I mean, for me, I think most of the time I play with Connor. So lots of times we look for SOS flares, get a full team, and take out the monster that way. Because a lot of times what you can do is you can join SOSs for even your assigned quest, and you can get carried. So like you may be like pretty bad at the game, but as long as you don't like faint or die, you can get through the story without being very good.
You might not be doing a lot of damage. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. At Fleetwood Gaming, I don't know much about VPNs. He has a question about VPNs in the chat, but I'm pretty sure if you I think Tunnel Bear is the people that advertise on Linus Tech Tips all the time, and it's pretty much you just turn it on, tell it where you want people to think you're from, and it encodes all your traffic, I think. So it's pretty simple if you go through a pre-set up service. I've never used one before though, so don't take my word for it at all. And then. Okay, so to transition into the next section is, what weapon are you using?
So I probably play like 90% of the story with the switch axe.
Okay.
I only would switch off if I was having a hard time with a really quick monster, and I would switch to a sword and shield. Mostly once I got into high rank. Low rank, I probably pretty much solely use the switch axe. Besides maybe the first couple of missions, I probably went sword and shield because that's what I played the beta with, and that's what I liked, and that's why I went into this game with. And then I kind of got to the point where I wanted something new and a little more technical. So I went to the switch axe, and I probably played, like I said, 90% of the story with that. But I'll say this, and this will kind of go with the tips that we have here, is that I'm now, done with the story and onto more of the grind and farming for late or end game stuff. And I don't know what weapon to play anymore, because not that I'm sick of the switch axe, but sometimes other weapons are just better for certain monsters. Like the last boss, honestly, I had to switch to the sword and shield because it was just way better to use that than the switch axe. I couldn't get the damage off fast enough with the switch axe compared to the sword and shield. So what I've kind of learned is that you can use one weapon, that's fine, but depending on the monster, I actually kind of switched it up, and I'm having a hard time right now trying to pick a new weapon that I like. I've gone between the switch axe, sword and shield, the hammer, the insect glaive, the lance. I tried out the charge blade, but it's impossible. It's so complicated.
That's one thing, is that there's so many different weapons that I don't know which one to pick, and I know very well that I'm probably gonna keep switching as time goes on, and that will be fun to learn them and to try to get better at them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, that's cool about Monster Hunter, is that you're not locked into playing only one playstyle. You can switch it up at any time, and even late game, it's not hard to make a weapon from scratch and upgrade it all the way to the end of the weapon tree. So it's not like, okay, I have to invest all this time. In the beginning, yes, you are investing resources into upgrading one weapon, but towards the end of the game, you can easily make 10 different weapons and upgrade them all the way. The biggest challenge is A, money, and obviously B, monster parts. But lots of times you have a lot of them anyway stacked up from playing the game, and then if you need to go back and fight a low rank monster, it's really easy. But so to kind of preface our this part of the weapons tips, is that I would say if you're a brand new player, go to the training room and try every weapon and see which one you like the most. I mean, you don't have to technically use all 14 of them. Like, for me, I kind of ignored all the ranged weapons because I didn't I dabbled with the bow. That was about it, and that was all I
tried all
three.
I tried all 3 ranged weapons, and I just didn't. The guns, I felt like, okay, there's going to be way too many side controls that I'm going to need to be working at the same time. The bow seems pretty linear, and once you apply a coating, you're probably going to stick with it for a while. So I've been playing around with that a little bit, but the guns seem very complicated.
Yeah, it's a lot of micromanaging with your ammo. You have to make sure you're crafting them all the time, which is not like a huge deal, especially with the farm. But you kind of have to utilize those things in order to be effective with that.
Yeah.
Where I like more straightforward. Okay, I have a sword.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
But yeah, that's why I would say, for me, I thought the sword and shield was very easy to pick up, especially when you're learning the game for the first time. Another good beginner weapon would be dual blades, just because it is so quick and it's straightforward.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I that's what I was using right off the bat, and I like that playstyle in a lot of games, getting very close to the enemy and just like building health. It's pretty easy and it's fun.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna spend a long time just playing around with all the different weapons.
Yeah, and then with that said, though, I would say kind of pick the weapon that you like the most in the end. Even if it's a complicated weapon. Say you really like the charge blade. You like having a sword and shield that turns into an axe, and it's cool.
That is cool.
Don't not use it because it's more complicated. I would still say go for what you think you like the most. But just know going in that I would illustrate it this way. It's like learning how to drive for the first time and also learning how to drive stick. Because you're trying to learn how to drive, but then you also have, it's not automatic, it's learn how to drive stick. So it's a little bit more complicated. So it's kind of like that. You're learning how Monster Hunter works with all the items, with the monsters, how the game itself works also, and then all of a sudden you have this complicated weapon. It's not impossible. You can do it. I mean, and again, you can either, like, even you said, you use dual blades for a little bit, you're like, okay, I'm ready to try something new because I've learned the game.
Well, so now that I'm trying Anjanath, I was thinking, I want to be away from him. I don't want to be next to him, so I'm trying out a ranged weapon.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of it. You can play 40 hours with one weapon and then switch if you so desire. It's not like... Sorry, the chat.
Yeah, chat's being funny.
So Fleetwood Gaming asked, do you guys play the game on your show? No, we play after the show. Elias streams it.
Yeah, so we might do some things coming up on Respawn Mondays. Right now, I've just been streaming on Tolmath. You can see my username in the chat there. I have the schedule over on my place. A lot of that schedule is going to be substituted with Monster Hunter right now, just because I'm really into it. So, after the show, probably think 10 o'clock, 10:30, something like that. I'll be getting on to play. You can come bother me over there for sure.
Yep. And so, now that say you got your great sword. All right, going great sword. I'm gonna play the game like this now. Now, upgrading weapons is a very important part of the game, and there's a couple things you should know going into the game. Make sure you're checking the smithy to upgrade your weapon. That's important because you don't want to be 10 monsters in or 20 hours in the game and you're not upgrading your weapon.
Yeah.
A big part of the game, obviously. So if you didn't know that, do that.
Yeah.
And so this is a little different on like armor, where you're gonna be upgrading one weapon the whole time. It's not like you're gonna be crafting new weapons that are better. So upgrading is the way to go here, the whole part of the game. But I would say this because I know we were playing with a friend, Sam, and he was always asking, "Oh, like should I go this weapon? Is this a good tree to go down?" And we're trying to tell him, don't stress too much on what tree you're gonna take the weapon. You can, especially in the beginning, because you can't see too far on where the tree is gonna go. So don't fret about it. Like, oh, if I'm stuck on this tree, like it's over, like it sucks. every weapon tree has a purpose and is good. They all go to the end.
Plus early level, like so far for me, if I wanted to restart and choose a different weapon and upgrade it as far as I could, like maybe go to Puki or Kuliaku, level 1 or 2, it's gonna cost you like $1,000 or maybe a little bit more. So that's one mission in Zenny. You could probably do that half an hour.
Yeah. And then and with Monster Hunter World, they've also implemented the feature of being able to roll back your upgrade, which I've only used like once or twice.
Yeah, I haven't used it yet.
Yeah, but that's also a possibility. So again, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You do get all your resources back, so it's not like
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not like you're wasting what you spent, unless it's specific. It does at a certain point. It will specifically say, you can't roll this back. Mm-hmm. But besides that, all the early game stuff you can. But again, along with that is once you hit late game, like I've kind of said, you can create new weapons and upgrade them all the way. Like for my hammer, or say like Insect Glaive, I wanted to do the Odogaron tree, because it looks really cool, and I literally upgraded it almost all the way, and just because I had everything, and I barely touched the weapon, so it's not like it. Late game, it's not like it takes a lot to upgrade a weapon, so don't be afraid to just keep upgrading your weapon and follow a tree, because at a certain point, it won't take too much to just craft a new one, and then upgrade that to something better or something you like more. And then also another point is that for me, I was using the switch axe most of the game. I had 4 or 5 switch axes. I had one for that wasn't an element. I had one that was ice. I had one that was had paralysis. I had one that was dragon. So you really should. It's kind of like with armor sets. You really should have multiple weapons, whether it's of the same weapon or different, that is for different elements, because different monsters have weaknesses. So you can use one weapon for everything, but at the same time, if you have like a thunder weapon against Corinne, then you're not going to be doing the extra damage. It's has no effect on the monster, so you're kind of wasting that damage there. Whereas if you use, I think fire is its weakness, you'll be doing that extra damage. And so we have Connor here in the chat, who was here last week, and he gives us a little tip. He says, kill a monster to get his stuff to create better, more badass armor and weapons so that you can take on more badass monsters.
That's essentially the game. Fleetwood Gaming.
Yeah.
Just so, yeah.
So, yeah, I would say in the beginning with weapon upgrading, just go for the one you think is the coolest, whether it's the highest damage, maybe it's an element you like, just go with it, and then worry about maybe going down a different tree later and, just forging a new weapon, because I think to forge a weapon is like 200 zenny, which is nothing. And then it takes, if you go to the ore tree, it takes a couple ore. If you go to the bone tree, it takes bone, and so forth and so on. So yeah, just don't worry about it too much.
Yeah.
And then to kind of go along with all of this, the underlining thing is money with Zenny. So a couple tips on just how to maybe make some more. Oh, sorry. Lost my place. So for money, you get login vouchers every time you log into the game every day. And these basically will grant you extra rewards for quests, but it'll also double your money reward. So what you want to do is you can use these if you really want to get a specific monster parts for an armor set or a weapon. But I would recommend using them if, say, you're low on money or you just want to get more, is to go into your investigations and look for a quest that you are comfortable doing, but also has a high money reward. Say like 10,000 zenny. They go up more with from there with harder quests, but you can easily find a comfortable quest you're good with. For 10,000, you use your login voucher and it will double the money you get at the end of the quest. But just keep in mind is that if you cart or if you faint, it will reduce the money you get, which is also, so overall it'll be less. So that's why you want to go with the quest that you're comfortable with, to try not to do that. And then if you farm monsters for an armor set, you can use the leftover monster parts to sell for easy money. But to kind of go along with that, you don't want to sell too many of them, because I kind of ran into that problem where I just sold all of my low rank monster parts. But then when I wanted to go forge a new weapon, I had to go back to the low rank monsters to get those beginner parts. So you can sell them, just maybe not sell all of them. I know, like, me and Connor, we farmed Odegarin in high rank a lot. Like, a lot. And I think I had like 40 Odegarin claws.
Oh, wow.
And I sold half of them for like 20,000 Zenny.
So that's a good question. Is if you and a friend are doing, farming Odegarin in expeditions, can you both carve him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you all get 3 carves.
Okay.
Elder dragons, you get 4 carves.
Okay.
And then if you cut off a tail, if the tail is severable, that's a carve.
Each person.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Good to know.
Yeah, so you don't have to share it.
That's been something that's like, I don't want to throw up an SOS flare because I really want this.
Yeah, the thing
this hide.
To go along with that is with the login voucher and using investigations, you have to do it solo. I mean, you don't have to, but with money in mind, if you don't do it solo, you split the reward.
Okay.
So not monster parts, you split the Zenny reward.
If you did a 4-man quest with a $10,000 standard
you each
reward,
get 2,500.
But if you used your voucher, you'd each get 5,000.
You would get 5,000.
You'd get 5,000. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. But so if you did it by yourself, you get 20,000. So you want.
So they're most effective when you're doing things by yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I think that's kind of all I wrote down. I had a couple other thoughts, but they kind of zoomed out of my mind. Do you have any questions so far with the game? Maybe anything you're having trouble with? Sorry to put you on the spot.
No,
here.
it's okay. I don't know. I know there's stuff I'm gonna learn, like as far as like, okay, I know there's a bunch more weapons and armor sets and all this stuff that is gonna become important as I go. We went over a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, I would say this: if you're having trouble with low rank, or if you're just having trouble with a monster in general, there is and there isn't such a thing as over preparing. Like I think me and Connor, we definitely over prepared for. I forget what monster, but we literally bought. We farmed for a whole armor set that was good against that monster. We farmed for the weapons that was good against that monster, and when we finally fought it, it was easy.
Okay.
So if you're having trouble with one, just over prepare basically.
Yeah.
Get an armor set that's good against it. Like right now, that's what I have to do. I really want to beat Corinne because it's the only monster I haven't fought and beaten yet, and I want that armor set. And I'm just like, well, my armor does have like -10 thunder. So maybe I should
probably change that.
So right now, I'm farming for a better armor set that's good against thunder. I think I got most of the parts, and then the last thing I have to do, which I haven't done yet, is to get a fire weapon with a lot of fire element that's good against that monster. So if you do that, you'll have a much better chance at fighting that monster, and then just learning Monster Hunter in general is all about learning monsters' moves. So it can be tricky sometimes because monsters can be crazy or just annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But monsters have moves and they have some type of pattern to them. So sometimes you just need to stand back and kind of watch what they do. I know, like, and then again, if you fight a monster 20 times, like with me and Connor and Odegarin, we like literally knew every single move that monster had, and it became so easy to fight it. So,
well, I'm looking forward to that.
It's a really fun monster. The armor set is awesome. So
that's
cool. That was the armor set I used for the rest of low rank, and then that was the one me and Connor farmed in high rank right away.
Okay.
We have a question from a chat user, Spencer. What's your favorite monster that you've fought so far? Do you have one?
As far as like a fun fight, what's the Gyarados? Gyarados? Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Really? You like that one?
Yeah.
Okay. I would have to say for me, I don't know if it's a particular monster, but I have to say, like, fighting Oda so many times probably was some of the cool experiences because, and I'll preface this by saying, going to the game, I knew 95% of the monsters already. Especially because in the launch trailer, they show you every single one, except for 3, I believe.
Okay.
Which I'm not going to give away, but you have the final boss, which they haven't given away, and then a monster called, it's either Basil Juice or Basil Guys. Not sure which one it is. But so I had never seen this monster before, and literally the first time I saw it was in Wildspire, and all of a sudden, like, this orchestra started, and this guy came out of the air, and he's basically like a plane bomber. Like, he literally grows scales and drops them, and they explode.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But so, when we were fighting Oda in Rotten Vale, which, keep in mind, is, like, tight spaces, he comes out of nowhere. Literally out of nowhere, and we're in this little den of Ortagarin, and he's just in there, and, like, me and Connor were just dying. We were just like, this is the craziest thing we've ever seen, and it was great. Like, so, some of the monster interactions in this game it's either A, really annoying because they go after you, but when they're just fighting each other, or when there's 3 of them, it's crazy. Sometimes it's some of the craziest experiences in the game, which is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Anything else? Like, I think you brought up at one point, do you bring traps and everything? Those items are, yes, very important. Either bring, traps, or all throughout the game, certain monsters, you just need flash pods, which you need flash bugs for. So just picking up a flash bug will get you a pod, and you can shoot it, and it basically flashes the monster and stuns them, or knocks them out. And this can be very important, especially like one of the Elder Dragons at the end who flies a lot and is annoying. Me and Connor just fought him today. You need flash pods, like a bunch of them. One way you can use the farm in order to just harvest these, but you do need to do an optional quest to get more, because like they give you very beginner items like honey.
The first 3 items, it's honey, herb, and maybe blue mushrooms are the first 3 items you get. Yeah, I just did the quest to get more.
Yeah, so you do need to do those optional quests, because I haven't even unlocked the flash bug for it.
Yeah, I'm going to get toadstools.
Yeah, and again, you can not only get more harvest slots, but you can get more slots for the items you put in there by doing optional quests. So yeah, there's a lot to the game. Like off the top of my head, I would say you have the stockpile for, I would say stockpile is kind of last resort unless you just like to buy them. But like even like large barrel bombs, you can just make those with gunpowder and barrels, which I do. Same thing with potions. You just need herbs for potions, and then honey and herbs for mega potions. I don't know if you know. Have you looked at your hunter notes for monsters?
Yeah, so I've gone in there a couple times. I don't know what the purpose of any of that is.
So if you go into the start menu and you go over 2 times to your hunter notes, and then you go to your monster list, you can look at the physiology of the monster and also the quest rewards or the card rewards. And so if you're having trouble with a monster, you can go in there and look at what the monster is weak against. For example, I think maybe, I don't know, Anjanath is weak against water and ice, I believe, because he's fire.
Yeah.
So like certain monsters, you right off the bat, you don't know what they're weak against. Like Oda he's like a red dog looking thing. You don't know what he's weak against. So you go in there, and as long as you collect enough tracks to level up your hunter notes to level 2, you can look at what it's weak against. You can see what part of the monster is the weakest, what type of damage, whether it's slicing, blunt, or I think gunner damage. Either say the head is 3 stars, or legs can be 2 stars, just depending. And then it'll also tell you what part of the monster is breakable. And for certain rewards, you need to break certain parts of the monster in order to get that.
Okay. I think I knew that or understood it.
Yeah.
Least, yeah.
So like, say like you really need a Anjanath plate, which is the rarest, and low rank is the rarest item to get from a monster. you're like, what the heck, I can't get one.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into your 100 notes, you can see if you, say, break the head, you have a much higher chance of either carving or getting a reward for a plate. And also to go along with that, you should check too, because certain quests are capture quests, especially investigations. And so certain rewards aren't available by capturing them. They're only available by carving. So that's important to keep in mind because you'll never get it if you're just capturing. So it's good to go in your 100 notes. And then if you didn't know, I didn't even know this until farther in the game, but there's a person you can see with a big pot and then little pots in front of her. It's near your bounties and investigations, and this will give you, it's the melder, and you can either meld items or you can meld decorations, which decorations are more high rank and late game stuff. But it's important to know where that is because I didn't even know where it was, and that can be important. It can help. Some people don't like the fact that you can do this, but you can go in there and meld, say, like an Anjanath plate, or even an Ortogaren gem, which is a high rank rare item. As long as you have a certain, you need to have like a silver or gold Wyverian print in order to do that. But again, it's important. It's good to know that it's there because if you really having a hard time getting that gem, like for example, Connor got 3 gems from a monster and I still haven't gotten one. So if you really want that weapon or armor, maybe you just need to bite the bullet and meld it.
It's also good to be aware when you're fighting a monster and you break parts. Sometimes they drop items, reward items typically.
Yeah, so if you're doing like a lot of damage, especially in like a 4-man quest or hunt, yeah, they frequently will drop little like white shining things on the ground.
Yeah,
and that's like it'll say like Anjanath material, and you'll pick it up and it'll be like a scale or something.
Yeah.
Which is just again more monster parts.
Sometimes when they fight each other too.
Yep.
I've seen that. It's I was fighting the Jury Totus, and a Bareth came by, and the Jury Totus did this like crazy move where he like boa constricted the Bareth, and they both dropped parts. They both dropped materials. I grabbed the Bareths, moved on, left the Bareth, and went to kill the Jury Totus, which was pretty sweet because I got a reward for something I wasn't even hunting.
Yeah. And then, not to keep rambling, but again, there's another thing you can do, which is it's kind of maybe more high rank stuff, but there's many mantles in the game which you need to do optional quests to unlock. So I just did it where you can get a bandit mantle, and this will increase the chance of monsters dropping material.
Ooh.
And it won't be like monster material, but they'll be gold, and it will be trade-in items, which is a good way to get more money. Again, but I think the quest to do that is you have to fund a Raytheon and or a Thalos in the same quest, which isn't too hard in high rank once you are far enough along. But again, that's another thing you can do. You have to go, if you go into the smithy and turn left, there's a girl there. And I don't know at what point she tells you about it, but she'll give you the quest to unlock that mantle. And there's a lot of mantles that I haven't even unlocked yet. There's like literally there's a mantle for every type of resistance. I think like a water mantle,
Wow.
like a fire. So yeah, it's like I kind of went through the story and I ignored all the exclamation points because there was just so much going on. I couldn't be distracted.
There is.
I couldn't be distracted with more optional quests. I just couldn't. So there's still a bunch of people with exclamation points.
Oh, okay, that's neat.
Yeah. But so to kind of finish off our discussion here, I just wanted to ask you, what do you, honest opinion, what do you think of the game so far?
It's pretty involved. I'm excited to get into the high rank and the end game because I haven't had a game like that in a while. Typically, with a lot of the games that we play, like PUBG, like League of Legends, CS:GO, competitive games, they emphasize skill, which is, I like skill. Don't get me wrong. But one thing about Ark that I really liked is that if you're just smart and you build out something and you know how to put things together, time and effort you're probably going to gain some skill anyway, but you can just plan accordingly and still reap the rewards of an end game. You know, it's like I'm excited to see what it is like, because you said they haven't even revealed the final boss.
I fought it, yeah.
You fought it, but they didn't reveal anything. I'm like,
yeah.
There's more monsters. Is there potential for more monsters to come out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we know there's an old monster called Devil Joe coming in March. But yeah, if you've seen the trailer, there is, I think two monsters you haven't seen. One is the last boss, and then one is, like I said, Bezel guys. So yeah, I mean, but even if you have seen the trailer, I mean, I was like obsessed to the point where I was just looking at the monster list and like, okay, this guy looks like this, he looks like this. So I wasn't surprised going into it because I knew all the monsters, and part of me regrets that, but at the same time, like knowing my personality, there's no way going around it unless. Yeah. So, but yeah, for example, like when I saw Bezel guys, I was like I was just blown away. I was like, I've never seen this guy before, and I don't know anything about him, and it was just one of the coolest feelings. So like, I bet for like a lot of people, first playing this game, it's like every monster I bet is like, dude, this guy is crazy.
Yeah.
So, but that was the feeling I got with the last boss. Like, this guy is crazy.
Cool. I'm just excited for like this progression type system. I would be really excited if when they do release new monsters and stuff, like it takes people weeks to beat them. And I know that's probably unrealistic, but that's something that like in Ark or in World of Warcraft, big MMOs like that. And this isn't an MMO, but it does have a multiplayer side to it where you need to queue with people, and maybe you want a support player, and maybe you want a tank and a DPS and stuff, and a ranged carry.
Yeah, I'll say this. Like, part of me, like for example, I really like the beta with Nergigante, the Elder Dragon, because you only had 15 minutes, and it was so hard, especially at first, to beat him. Once you finally beat him, you got like, and I've gotten many moments throughout the game that I've been like, yes, we finally beat that guy, because maybe it's either taken a while because we've died so many times and failed, or it was just such a long quest. Yeah. But yeah, at the same time, like I liked that feeling, and so yeah, sometimes I do. I wish not that it was harder, but sometimes I like going in solo because I'm not gonna get carried. It's all on me to beat this monster. Like today, I played a Levasioth, which is like Gyarados but lava basically.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And it took me like a long time, and I was getting a little frustrated. But I finally did it, and it was like that was all on me. I had to do that, and so I kind of like that more so. But with like the beta, it was still 4 people, but it was just so hard, especially with the time limit. Sometimes I kind of wish it was more restricted, like in that way. Kind of to your point of it takes people a long time to beat, because obviously you'll have the pros that will beat it in like a day. But like for like us, like a normal person, like it could take you like a long time. Sometimes I wish it was not that I wish it was harder, because it is really hard, and I haven't even gone past high rank monsters because there is past that.
Well, and what's really nice about this game is that it times your completions as well. Yeah. And what would be really neat, and I don't know if they do already have this, is if there was a ranking ladder of like, well, the fastest time somebody beat a 4-man, whatever.
Yeah.
One of the highest.
I'm not exactly sure if there is. I think there is. There's probably definitely.
You could at least somebody could make a list if you're if you're getting a world record and you post it on YouTube.
I'm definitely sure there's like a leaderboard at least out of game, but like there are these arena quests that I think they may have a leaderboard built into the game.
Okay.
But you have to go to the gathering hub at the top of the map. And you do the arena quest there.
That makes a lot more sense too, because it removes variables like other monsters getting in the way, or having to find it and falling down.
And actually, now that I think about it, maybe for more of a challenge, I should do more arena quests, because arena quests are very specific as to what you're taking with you. As far as gear, they tell you what gear you're gonna bring.
Oh, okay.
And then even what time limit you have, what the monster is. Sometimes the monster is double the size of a normal monster. So yeah, it kind of adds more. It's more of like a challenge and more, just challenging that way. And I think there's a leaderboard with that.
That's cool. Yeah, so I'll look into that probably tonight.
Yeah.
Probably won't beat anything, but I'll look into it.
So I think that kind of wraps up the discussion for today. Maybe further down the road, if we're still, I mean, I know I'll still be a Monster Hunter, but if we feel it's best for the show to keep talking about it, maybe we'll do a more of like a high rank and late game tip episode, especially as I play the game even more.
Yeah, I'll try to be there by next week.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, okay, so last thing I did want to bring out, I was thinking while you were talking, is that, like your point of, like, this game isn't just like a button masher. And sometimes I go in, and that's what I want to do. I'm just like, I just want to beat the crap out of this guy, and he just keeps knocking you over, and it's frustrating. It's just not how the game is. You have to be more tactical, and like your point, I know Ethan was like he would like look at every skill, and he had this whole armor build, like insane, because I like aesthetics, so I usually go for a full set, but he had like different pieces, and that literally tailored to what he was going for with the insect glaive, and it was really cool. Like he had all this planned out with strategy, and you can tailor that for every single monster if you're having a hard time with, especially that you have, you know, an armor set that's really good against thunder or fire, and then a weapon that's good. You can bring traps, you can bring barrel bombs, you can bring the flash pods, and then you can take, you know, certain powders or potions that will enhance you, and then don't forget to eat. Eating is very important. I tell Connor all the time, like, dude, why aren't you eating? And he complains when he dies. I'm just like, he's gotten better now, but because like, especially, I forget the health boost at the beginning, but where I'm at, it gives you a 50 health boost, which is half of your health bar.
That's nice, yeah.
So like without it, you kind of, actually 50 might be your health bar.
It's the difference between getting one shot and not, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it can be frustrating either way, but getting one shot is just like, you make one mistake and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, so, there's a lot of room for planning in this game, which is really cool. And yeah, like you say, Ethan is insane with planning. So sometimes, like, it's hard for me to admit sometimes how good he is at playing certain games. I want to tempt him to play an MMO, but it would be irresponsible of me.
But yeah, no, I think that was it. If you guys liked our tips, I know it was, some of them were a little brief, but I think they were pretty important. It was what I thought was good. Some things that you can take going into the game, or even if you're into the game and maybe you're having trouble. But so if you like the tips, you want to give us feedback for us or the show, we have an email, we have a Twitter, which we'll reference at the end of the show, and you can help us with that. With all those said, we can move on to our news section now. We cover a wide variety of games still with our news. I think the first thing I'll just cover real quickly, Elias, is PUBG, like always. The peak players haven't gone up since January last month. So they're still at 3.26 million. I think they've kind of plateaued in that aspect. But at the same time, I check every now and again, and it's still around 3 million peak every day. So it's not like the game has dropped off. It just hasn't. It's kind of hit the limit.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about that, going into a bit of the next point, I'm not going to read the whole paragraph I copy pasted, but on their patch notes post recently, they noted that a new type of anti-cheat solution is still under development, but it's going to be applied to test servers. And it seems like, from what they were saying, that a decent amount of people are still playing test server, which is, I mean, that's pretty neat, I guess. I wouldn't be playing test servers now that we have Miramar, now that we have Vault. There's no major mechanical update coming out or anything, but it's pretty neat for the people that do. And potentially that player base is a little split, because test server players don't get factored into the peak players, I don't believe.
No, they don't.
Yeah. So, and also, if I can, what was I going to say? I remember something somebody said. Oh, I think it was a post on Twitter, maybe. But they banned 1 million players in January. Just in January.
Yeah, I heard that.
They banned 1 million players. Oh, no, Battle Eye. No, it was Battle Eye was saying. that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The anti-cheat.
The anti-cheat that they use. Arc uses them too.
So they're still making a lot of money on game copies.
Game copies. Yeah.
Yeah. You know those people are buying more copies.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'll be interested to see what they do. Maybe like for a summer release, I could see a summer DLC or like a new map or something like that coming out around then. Definitely some more crates are probably gonna come out before then. Let me tell you.
Crates, man.
I'm waiting on a new CS:GO crate. It's been the longest time since they've released a crate recently.
Well,
longest time they've ever waited before releasing it. But I think they're gonna wait a couple more weeks to wait off the major hype, like for the the championship hype, because people are still playing from that. So give it a week or two, player numbers will go down, and then they'll release a crate, and then they're back in business.
Yep.
They did have a couple patch notes. Do you want to get into that, or?
No,
I mean, I don't know anything else about it more than you do. I haven't played too much recently. So they made some improvements to Miramar, PUBG that is. They added more buildings and cover across the map to improve the engagement experience.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So like
it is interesting.
Maybe in the more deserty, barren
area,
parts?
yeah, they're just
because there is a lot of wide open areas.
I get the idea that by putting a building or some cover there, you're gonna create more opportunities for meaningful fights.
Yeah.
Like where you both see each other and you're both going at,
Yeah.
They added more off-road routes for easier vehicle navigation, which
that's
key, because sometimes you'd have to summit like higher than a 45-degree angle, and you just need to go there because that's where the wall is, and you need to get that Bronco over it, and it's not going to happen. And then they upgraded the item spawn level of certain areas for loot balancing. Some areas will spawn better loot now. So I'm thinking La Bendita is going to get a little bit of a buff. The Eastern Crater. And then potentially, what's that town on the island next to Prison Island?
You mean like the town to the right of it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Okay, I'm thinking that place is getting a buff.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because it was pretty
Not above it.
No, so there's Prison Island. Okay, for the people watching, there's Prison Island. There's an island next to it.
Yeah.
Connected by a small bridge. Yeah. I'm thinking that place is getting a buff too.
Yep. With the replay system, the replay system has been updated to a newer version, and past replay files cannot be played anymore. That sucks.
Well, some people might have gotten screwed if they didn't do anything with it, but hopefully... Well,
I know, we didn't get to talk about on the show because everything was crazy with Monster Hunter, but me and Connor and Matt had a crazy win where Connor won it for us.
Nice.
And, like, it was the best performance I have seen outside of, like, Shroud and Dr. Disrespect and those guys.
Oh, wow.
It was like he literally killed, like, the last, like, 5 people by himself.
Connor wasn't lying when he said that by changing his mouse settings in Windows, it fixed everything.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, you're going to get a couple of kill or two more.
Right. No, it was, like, ridiculous. And I wanted to record it, but I didn't get the chance, and now with this new replay, with the update, it probably can't be played anymore, which sucks.
That stinks, yeah.
But so a couple of bug fixes we have. Fix the issue where heal and boost items could be used underwater. Fix the issue where characters would get stuck in certain areas on Miramar, which definitely has happened to me. Fix the issue where wall textures on some Miramar buildings were not displaying correctly. And then fix the issue where certain buildings near Hacienda del Patron were not displaying correctly. Okay. So I've got some nice bug fixes there. I think that was pretty much the patch. I would say to finish off PUBG news, I'm gonna put with PUBG, but Dr. Disrespect came back today with his first stream, and he kind of broke it.
Yeah, he broke Twitch.
He broke Twitch, and the funny thing is that that's what he said on his Twitter. Because I was playing Monster Hunter, and I'm like, well, what does he mean? So I went over, and I clicked on his little stream, and he had like 390,000 viewers.
Yeah.
390,000. Or million, like he says.
Yeah.
In the stadium.
Yeah.
But no, that's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, because he averaged, 30 to 40,000 on a daily basis.
Next to League of Legends or E-League majors, or like a CS:GO major, that's got to be the most watched stream of all time. It has to be.
I'm curious as to what because that's like a lot, and I'm like blown away. Because I thought, he's going to get a lot because he has been a while. People want to watch him.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a lot.
But to be, that high, almost 400,000 people.
It just makes me sad, and it makes me laugh a little bit because Summit and Tyler 1 just got unbanned from League, and he's been going hard, and they're like, yeah, Stream of the Year. We're going to get Stream of the Year. No, you're not. It's not happening. Don't give up, but sorry.
Yeah. And to go along with that, he has updated, he has a new Champions Club.
Yeah.
But he has because, he uses a lot of green screen and, scenes.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of different scenes built and everything. Yeah.
He has a bunch of new ones.
Plus, he's doing his own YouTube channel now.
Yep. He finally posted
He has an editor in charge of it. And
Yep. But, yeah, so he has... Everything is kind of... Like he said, Doc 2.0. Everything has been kind of updated, which I think is good, especially with everything that's happened. And then something I guess Ethan said he had done in the past, but he was dropping in PUBG, and it went to a weird like mechanical. I don't know how to describe it, but whatever. And then it came back, and he was a robot.
Yeah, he said that before.
Yeah. I was like. I didn't realize it was an old thing. I was like, this is no wonder he's so good. Because you don't that's the thing. You don't have to be into PUBG
to appreciate that stream.
Because I'm not huge into watching streams. I watch them sometimes, but I like watching him just because he's funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And all the scenes is just
he has a ton of effort and time and whatnot goes into his stream.
Yeah. So, and then I know at one point during the stream he had a $5,000 donation.
Oh, wow.
He had a bunch of donations. So he's doing pretty good for himself.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think the last game we have is Overwatch.
Yeah, just a real quick reminder for Arc. They did make some patch notes about some undermeshing issues. I think that the 30-30, if you play Arc, this is interesting to you. If you don't, I'm sorry, it's going to be 2 minutes. I think the 30-30 glacier is a huge issue on the island. Because they keep having to make patch notes specifically just for people that are raiding that base, and that base alone. So they just made some changes with the inability to make a Tuso Tethys, which is the giant squid, attack through mesh. So the only place on the map where that's going to be an issue is, potentially Irby Island, but in all reality, it's the 30-30 glacier. People love to build bases there. I don't think I don't know. It's a neat base, but they have to keep making so many changes just for that one base. It seems a little ridiculous. And just a reminder, February 18th, we're going to be doing a big show going over all the Dino TLC past Phase 1 and Phase 2. Potentially by then we're going to have a lot more news on that. Changes. And hopefully we might even, depending on when they release it, have some playtime in it. So if you're interested in ARC, come stop back by February 18th. We're gonna have Cooper back to talk about it.
So that was we have Overwatch.
That was Arc. So yeah, we have Overwatch.
So Mercy has been nerfed more, and she's been changed so much. It's almost just go back to her original design.
I could see that.
Almost. I don't know. She's in such a bad spot. And now when you're talking about esports, you're talking about certain teams, who use a certain strategies. Now they're gonna suck because they don't have that strategy anymore.
Yeah. And
so it's a very difficult thing to do. But yeah, so I'll kind of start off. Her Valkyrie no longer makes resurrect instant, which is her ultimate.
Yep.
It no longer grants a bonus resurrect charge, and the speed bonus from Guardian Angel receives when activating Valkyrie has been decreased by 50%. The duration reduced, And the duration has been reduced from 20 seconds to 15 seconds. Now, what are they?
Pretty substantial.
Why are they doing this?
No, man.
Yeah.
Mercy's. So this is the developer's comments. Mercy's recent resurrect changes have helped in allowing enemies to have more counterplay in dealing with her, but she was able to use resurrect through Valkyrie enough to largely mitigate the impact of the previous changes. Additionally, we're toning back the amount of mobility Valkyrie provides through Guardian Angel and reducing its duration to overall reduce the power of this ability. I honestly think if they really wanted to make Resurrect not instant anymore, and it no longer grants a bonus Resurrect charge in Valkyrie, leave the mobility stuff. Like, at least let her live for a minute. While she, if she survives, I think it should be like a bit of a reward system. If she survives resurrecting someone, because it's not going to be instant anymore, let her get away. And live to maybe resurrect one other person.
I almost feel like now that they have the esports side of it, they're so worried about balance that they've kind of had to go back and forth, especially with this hero. So it kind of sucks.
Key to that, just release another healer.
They just did.
Yeah, they did release Moira. Yeah,
and she's pretty popular too.
I like Moira.
Yeah. But yeah,
I think we're gonna, especially like you say, with esports, we're gonna be seeing a lot more balance changes out of Blizzard. It's gonna. I mean, that's what they do in League. They have to.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way around it, really.
Yeah.
So that pretty much wraps it up for the news for this episode, guys. We'll kind of close out the show with a couple things. We got our polls and trivia. Last week's question was, how many hours of Monster Hunter did you have? And keep in mind that at the time it had only been out over the weekend. But so we have the results from the poll, and we have the 0 to 10 hour slot. We have 40%, which is the winner, which is kind of fair considering how new the game was. We had 30% for 11 to 25 hours, which I think at the time I was at.
Yeah, that'd be me too.
And then 26 to 50 hours, we had 20%, and then 10% was at over 51 hours. So someone really played a lot that weekend.
Yeah. Someone got the business.
Yep. So those are the results from the last week's poll. Unfortunately, we didn't think of a question this week.
Yeah, but check the Twitter. We'll probably have one, or we could have one before next show.
Yep. So that kind of wraps up this episode, guys. If you want to, you can follow us here on Twitch. If you're watching, we have the show every Monday at 8 o'clock. We have Twitter and YouTube at Respawn Mondays. If you want to follow us there on Twitter, you can add us, and if you want to give us feedback or just shout at us, you can do so. We have our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, everywhere you can find podcasts. If you're an iPhone user or you have iTunes, you can leave us a review. That will help us a lot. We did get 2 in the past week, but I can't see what they say.
Reviews?
Yeah.
Oh.
We got listen to this. We got a 5-star.
Yeah.
And we got a 1-star.
We got a 1-star. I did see the 1-star.
So, but I thought maybe it needed to update.
If you leave a 1-star, let us know what was so bad.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, they're still not there. So I don't know.
I have in the past. I've tried to leave a review, and sometimes doing it on your phone doesn't work out so well. For some reason, the UI in the podcast app on iPhone for me didn't work that well. So maybe do it online or do it in your iTunes client on your PC or however you can. But if it doesn't work out, feel free to send us an email.
Yeah. And you can do that at respawn.mondays@gmail.com. Or if you want to ask us a question and we'll answer it on the show, you can do so there. I think that kind of... Oh, and we have our Patreon at patreon.com/respawnmondays. I just want to say this for this episode. If you want to leave us a tip, you can do so, and we greatly appreciate it. But at this point, it's not so much because we want to make money, and that's why we do the show. It's more so like you appreciate the show that much, and that's a great way to show us that you appreciate it. honestly.
Yeah, like, I don't know if we even have, like, too many reward tiers in there where it's, like, a meaningful thing. Like, yeah, you can come play games with us or something. Or maybe, I think one of the tiers is we could do like, a review of that person's gameplay or something.
Yep.
Like, a bit of, I mean, if you think we're good at video
yeah,
games, that's helpful.
I think we have the last tier. You can be a world boss in our Discord channel. But we will play one-on-one with any game you want, and we'll give you tips. If you want to, or if you just want to play with us, you can do so. But yeah, giving us anything, we'll get you access to our Discord channel, and you can play games with us there. Yeah. But again, totally up to you. It's just a tip. It kind of tells us that you like the show. It's not like, like if we don't make money, because we don't, that we're not happy. So I just want to say that I know for the past few episodes we've
been shouting it out.
Yeah. But again, we don't want to make you think that it's for that reason.
Honestly, that any of that money is probably just going to go to hosting the show on SoundCloud and buying us a beer, because we've had multiple comments in the chat about you guys are drinking those beers slow.
Mostly
Why don't you drink those beers faster? Well, yeah, but it's like, well, because I only bought 2 beers for the show today. So if you want us to drink more beers on the show, donate. Or hit us up on Patreon.
Yeah. So, but yeah, regardless, giving us any type of feedback is greatly appreciated. If you leave us a 1-star review, then freaking do it.
Yeah. But let us know why.
Yeah.
We would greatly appreciate your constructive criticism.
Yep. So we like doing the show. Sometimes it is, considered work, because it's not like, making the show doc is work sometimes, but we like it, and we like talking about games, and that's why we do the show.
It's fun, yeah.
So, but to wrap up the show for sure, you can follow me personally if you want to at NikkiGirl7 on Twitter, or YouTube. I have a YouTube channel called Nikki Girl Gaming. What about you, Elias?
You can catch me Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Tolmaeth, TOLMAEITH. And actually, I just started an Instagram page too. It's not, I just post pictures of I bought a PS4 or stupid stuff like that. But if you like Instagram, which I'm thinking a lot more people like Instagram than Twitter, yeah.
They're definitely different communities, for sure.
For sure, yes.
And the last thing we forgot, this is our 20th episode.
This 20th episode, yeah.
It's your 20th time respawning. So that's a little milestone, I would say.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. What's that? I mean, basically 5 months we've been going.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit longer, because we've had a couple little breaks or whatever.
Yep.
But.
So we're still here, guys, if you're listening.
Yeah.
So, but that's our show. I'm Nick Berry.
I'm Elias Christensen.
And thanks for respawning with us.
We'll see you next week.